Good afternoon. This is going to be a rare daytime class session. You can call me Professor 219. I'm teaching an online class on how to be a conservative in today's messed up America. You don't need to know my real name. Today's class session is going to be about our Vice President, Kamala Harris. She's been on a recent assignment to deal with the crisis at the border. And she's starting to get flack not just from conservatives, but from the so-called progressive left within her own party for dropping the ball in various ways and in various places on the football field. Almost immediately, she gave a statement in Guatemala, not at the border, saying to the migrants from Central America, don't come here, don't come here. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she hates it when conservatives like me call her AOC, but she loves it when everybody else does. AOC criticized her for saying this to these poor migrants and pointed out that so many of them qualify allegedly for asylum because their countries are so violent. Well, Guatemala has a pretty high murder rate, and these illegal immigrants come to cities like Baltimore. Baltimore has a higher murder rate than Guatemala. So why are you fleeing one violent place because it's so violent for an even more violent place? These questions just pop up now and then, and people like Kamala Harris laugh imperiously whenever these questions are asked, as though you don't have a right to ask those questions. Lester Holt, 60 Minutes, I believe, asked her on camera why she hadn't been to the border, and she said, I haven't been to Europe either. And then she laughed, as if he didn't have the right to ask that question. She's been put in charge of the situation on the border. One would think that she would go to the border. By the way, they're illuminating the children's cages in rainbow lights to celebrate Pride Month. I'm just joking, but I thought that was a pretty good joke. Another thing that is going on here is that she's not going to solve anything. Okay, she's from California, she's black, she's female, she faked it until she made it. She started her political career by sleeping with an elderly married man named Willie Brown, who coincidentally was the chairman of the General Assembly of California. Really, even more powerful than a governor. The most powerful politician in the state. And he rewarded her for her attentions with a brand new BMW and appointments to 2 state boards. One of them heard appeals of unemployment benefits that had been denied, and I'm not sure what the other one was, but fairly mundane state level tasks. And she used these board seats as stepping stones to build her political career. First San Francisco DA, then State Attorney General, then the Senate, and now the Vice Presidency. And he was in his 60s and she was 29, and she got these substantial things of value in exchange for sex. Now, what do we call this type of exchange? I know what they would have called it if Sarah Palin or Nikki Haley or Joni Ernst had risen to the top level of politics in their party. They would have called it prostitution. And they would have demanded investigation into any other people that Joni Ernst or Sarah Palin or Nikki Haley were visiting as they rose higher and higher through the levels of power. The fact that these questions are not being asked shows you who the media are rooting for, who the media are serving. They are serving as propaganda bureaus for the Democratic Party. And what's way more important than the stories that they tell you is the truth that they don't tell you, the peculiar coincidences that they don't even bother to investigate because they're not interested and because they don't want you to know. I say this again and again, I despair for the future of America under leadership like this. And there has to be a change. We can look forward to 2022 taking back the House. On redistricting alone, it's practically a done deal. But we have to go way, way farther than that. It would be nice to get at least a 40-seat majority in the House. And we can do it. We have to knock on doors, canvass for these candidates. We have to man phone banks. We need volunteers. Volunteer for your local Republican congressional candidate in your district, please. They need you, and you could make a difference. We can also take back the Senate. Again, this takes a real push by donors and, more importantly, by volunteers like you and me. Don't despair. The numbers, the polls are going to say that your candidate is behind. But you're behind by less than a touchdown. So move the ball. Another thing that I'd like to say about Kamala Harris is that it's clear that she's way out of her element. She's actually being expected to do something, to achieve something. And she never has in her entire career. Nothing substantial, nothing creative, nothing that actually solves a problem. And now she's being expected to solve what I believe is the biggest problem we have: illegal immigration. Here's what real comprehensive immigration reform would look like. First, we would need vastly expanded detention facilities that include facilities for families to remain intact. That means they gotta look like huge apartment complexes with chain link fence all the way around them, and gates and guards, because it's a detention center. This would enable families to stay together. There would be no more kids in cages. There would be no more babies being ripped from the arms of their mothers. There would be no more fodder for the propaganda machine of the left regarding this crisis. We also need vastly expanded Border Patrol and ICE. We need vastly expanded immigration courts. They have a backlog of cases going for 4 years. Their solution to these problems is to just release the illegal immigrants with a court date sometime in the year 2025. Most of these people just disappear into the sanctuary cities and they never show up for their court dates. So they get a continuance instead of a deportation order. This is the law. This is the way the law works. We need to be able to expedite these cases so that they're heard in a few months, so that these families can stay together in the detention camp until their cases are adjudicated, and then they can be deported. This is how it should work. All these proposals have been proposed repeatedly by the Republicans in Congress, and they've been blocked by the Democrats. This is a humane solution that upholds the law and the Democrats want no part of it. As Rahm Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. They're using this crisis to pressure America and the Republican Party, representing what I believe to be the majority of America, at least on this issue, the most important issue. They're pressuring America to accept these migrants and legalize them, even though they are here illegally, even though they're streaming in illegally. We had 17,000 people arrested at the border in April 2020. In April 2021, it was over 170,000. That's 10 times as many. And Border Patrol routinely estimates that 60% of the people who cross the border get away. They don't get arrested. So it's close to 400,000 crossing the border in the month of April 2020. Do the math. There were fewer people apprehended at the border in May. I don't have exact numbers, but this is a crisis. And we're putting someone in charge of it who has no experience in a real crisis and has gotten where she is not through her own merits, but so much as her choice of partners. Look at the two women that have made it to the presidential ticket in the last two presidential elections for the Democrats. Hillary Clinton, presidential nominee in 2016, Kamala Harris, vice presidential nominee in 2020. Both of them got where they are, or where they were at the time of the election, because of their choice of sexual partners. If Hillary Clinton hadn't married Bill Clinton, she would be an obscure trial lawyer in Park Ridge, Illinois. That's where she's from, a suburb of Chicago. Kamala Harris would probably be working for the Public Defender's Office in San Francisco if she hadn't shacked up with Willie Brown at the age of 29. What does this say about the views of the Democratic Party toward women? The Democratic Party is very big on symbolism. This is why they're attacking the Confederate flag, any statue of a Confederate general anywhere in the country. What kind of symbolism is this? What kind of symbolism is this for women and for teenage girls? It teaches these people, these women and girls, that sleeping with the right man can advance their careers. That's a dangerous message to be sending. And it's shameful. The Democrats and the media don't even know the meaning of the word shame anymore. Not as it applies to Democrats. You try to use it as a weapon constantly against Republicans, as we've seen, as I've discussed. But Democrats have no shame about these things. I also mentioned Eric Swalwell and spending time with a Chinese spy named Christine Fang. That's about all I have for you today. Please give me a thumbs up here on YouTube if you like this video, and subscribe to the channel, and share this on Facebook with your conservative friends. I'll try to do this a little bit more often. Have a great day.